The most precarious position known to man is the 8 o'clock. I don't know if we're live yet position. We have beat Eric on the text. Eric is late today on the text. He's usually very quick. And we have first in the chat, Sharvin Castillo Villegas. Sharvin Castillo Villegas first in the chat. Let's get it. All right, we're pouring into the chat. Showtime, go time. Let's go. So we have to get 850 likes. We have to get 753 people in the chat. That is the mission. That is the agenda for today. We need the gold medal. So I appreciate everybody who jumps in early. I appreciate all you guys. Where are you guys from? Where are you tuning in from? A lot of familiar faces. If you do have some question marks, put like 3 question marks before your question. That way I can skim through and I can read everybody. So make sure if you do have a question, type a bunch of question marks and let me make sure I can skim through and get everybody. I'm happy to answer every single question that we have today. I have to beat the chat. So if you guys got questions, I got answers. That is the name of the game. I'm happy all of you guys are here. As I said, the record is 850 likes. So please hit the like button. That is an easy record for us to beat because there's like 3,000 people that watch the stream. We easy victory 850. And then the number of people in the chat, that's a little bit more difficult. That is 753. That is our gold medal. The first one in the chat was Sharvin Castillo Villegas. Shouts out to them. So I hope everybody is doing well. Ideal Motor says he's bringing over 750 people alone. So he's breaking the record for us today. I appreciate that. So like I said, if you guys have some questions, put some question marks in the chat. The title for today is the most controversial debate in reselling. And I want to put it to you guys first. What is the most controversial debate in reselling? There's some good ones out there. I'll give you a couple. You know, they got the debate of the fast nickel or the slow dime. What side do you hang on that? They got the debate of the red door, blue door. What side of the aisle are you on for the red door, blue door? Free shipping or not free shipping? Free returns or not free returns? Where do you guys stand on this? And I think I have the most controversial debate in reselling, but I'm going to see if you guys can get it. Oh, Gene Queen got a good one. Printers. That is a good one. Printers. I am on Team Brother. Y'all can have Team Rolo. Y'all can have Team Zebra. Team Brother Rolos. That is a great one, Gene Queen. That is a great one. Pete said he's rocking the merch. We got Eric coming in 3 minutes late with the good news for the day. Let's see how we did at the store. Respectable. Good day. Very good. Yeah, printers is a huge debate. Printers is like politics. You got to stay out of the printer discussion because there are some diehard printer purists out there. So the brother printer, I love the brother printers. All right. So if you got some good debates, oh, this is a good one too. Robin says, refund excess shipping. That is a good debate right there. Do you guys refund the excess shipping? For me, if it's egregious, I'll refund it. If it's just a couple of dollars, then I just keep it pushing. But what do you guys do? Do you guys refund the excess in shipping every single time? Oh, Nina got a good one. Phone versus camera. That might be worse than the printer. Phone versus camera. Nina coming through with the heat on the great reseller debate right there. Niche or everything seller. Angie coming through with a good one. Niche or everything seller. Okay, you guys are coming with the heat. Phone or camera. Great reseller debate. Niche seller or the closet scratcher. To wash or not to wash. That is a great reseller debate right there. To wash or not to wash. That is a great reseller debate. List on the computer or on the phone. Another good reseller debate right there. I want to know where you guys stand on all of these. Where do you guys stand on all of these debates here? And then in Nina's case also, Android versus Apple. Good one for the Gene Queen. Yeah. 2XL versus XXL. You guys are killing me. Oh my goodness. Bygone says absolutely to wash or not to wash. That is not a debate. That is a rule. It is in the rules. I am team wash everything. That way, when it comes through the assembly line, it's the best it's ever going to be. And if we see a flaw, we identify a flaw. We take a photo and we keep it pushing. We don't move it to the side. We don't, deal with it. I wash every single item. It is in the rules for the pre-owned clothing. But there is a debate. Some people say, people don't donate from the hamper. Hey, I'm telling you what I do. I wash everything personally. All right, how we doing? So if we got some questions, post them in the chat. If you got some great debates, hey, you guys could chop it up in the chat. Someone is asking, JC is asking, what's red door, what's blue door? So all the way back in the days of the Stone Age is some people would say that eBay would turn your store off and like you wouldn't get any traffic. And then if you look next to your eBay name, you would have a red door. And red door would signify the traffic is off, you're not getting any sales. And the red door was because you had an eBay store. But if you were cooking, you were rocking and rolling, and you looked at your door, you had a blue door. So back in the day, the red door, blue door, that was a big thing right there. And if you are old enough to remember, if you are seasoned enough to remember red door, blue door, put that one in the chat because that is you're going back old school then. All right, so we got a couple of questions in the community section from some fine folks who couldn't make it. I appreciate them. Someone says they hope we break all the records tonight. I hope so too. We need 850 likes. That should be an easy win every single week. And we need 753 people in the chat. We already had Sharvin Castillo Villegas #1 in the chat, so he takes home the gold medal. And they say, how do fees with international shipping work? We don't charge for it, but eBay does. But I feel like I get hit for extra fees I don't know about. Well, you do not. So eBay takes care of the VAT. They charge you a transaction fee. They charge you a promoted listings fee if applicable, and then they charge you for the label. So if you're ever curious about what eBay is charging, simply go to the transaction in question, click on order details, and then it will break it all down for you. You have to scroll down about halfway. It's on the lower right-hand side. So definitely check out the order details page for any item that you are questioning the fees. Lachey got a great one. Respect the rock or don't respect the rock. And if you haven't been here for about 3 weeks, then you don't know whether or not to respect the rock. Bobby says they remember red door, blue door theory. That's right. Barbara says there are a limit to the keywords we should use in the theme fields on eBay. I think that there is a fine line between an actual theme and then keyword stuffing or keyword spamming, which is a policy violation. So for me personally, I only want to put accurate items in their respective condition fields for item specifics. I do not add a whole bunch of stuff in an attempt to trick the search, in an attempt to game the search, in an attempt to stuff keywords or spam keywords. So I only put pertinent information in there. Everything else I do not put in there. And then maybe you could use the title if possible. But there is a difference between what the field is meant for and then keyword spamming, keyword stuffing. Salem says, I had a return request today new to eBay and it said I didn't have to accept return. Is that normal? So it depends. It depends on your return policy. If your return policy is you do not accept returns, if it is a buyer's remorse return, such as wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better price, no longer need, change mind, then technically speaking, you have the option and opportunity to decline that return. If you do accept returns, then you will have to accept the return, whether or not it's item not as described or it is a buyer's remorse. Also, if it is past your window, so if you have a 30-day return policy and it's 48 days past the policy, then you do have the opportunity to decline that refund as well. Now, remember, the 30 days starts when the item is delivered. It's not 30 days from the sale. It's 30 days from when the item is delivered. And then if it is past the 30-day window, eBay does give you an opportunity to decline the return. And that is just going to be a judgment call based on you. So you have the opportunity to decline the return based on your return settings prior to selling the item. Colin says, if you switch to your, I know you switch your stance to feedback. Do you still try to get easier feedback removed, such as extortion, good feedback, and that is negative, or just let it all go? So I have a funny story. So I have been testing the tool, and I had a feedback that said, that the snap was broken on the hat, and I had showed it. I let them know that you need a snap replacement. I tried to get it removed and they wouldn't do it. So I accurately described it. They wouldn't do it on the tool. I just did it just for the kicks to see if they would, and they would not. I also had another one that said that someone accepted an offer, didn't pay, and then left a neutral that says something to the effect that they didn't mean to accept the offer. So this person flat out didn't even pay for the item, and they left me a neutral. And I went to the tool just to see if they would take it off, and they would not take off the feedback. So it doesn't work. The feedback does not work. You are not supposed to get feedback from someone who did not complete the transaction. If they did not complete the transaction, they are not allowed to leave feedback. That is in the rules, that is in the guidelines. Somebody placed a bid. I accepted it. They did not pay. They left a neutral stating, I didn't pay, or something like that. I tried to appeal it through the tool. The tool said no. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time trying to get a bunch of feedback removed that eBay obviously doesn't want to remove for whatever reason. So if people want to bid on items and not pay and leave bad feedback, then eBay is allowing it. Then that's just the name of the game right now. Do you notice an uptick of buyers only buying with deep discount offers? I do not. I like to price my items at market or slightly below it, maybe have a coupon as well to further entice the buyers. But if you notice a big influx in sales when you offer a deep discount, odds are your items are priced too high to begin with. Sam says the tool works every now and then, but usually is decline. Yeah, I had a feedback decline on somebody that didn't even pay. That's how eBay is nowadays. Is it viable to import products from Alibaba and sell on eBay? If you import them and you physically have possession of them, you may list them if you want to. It is a very competitive space because there is a very low barrier to entry in that niche. And also you're competing like item SKU for SKU. So if you're competing like item SKU for SKU, the person who is cheaper by 1 penny is probably going to get the sale more often than not. If you are drop shipping, then that is not a viable business model. But if you actually have possession of the items and you want to list them on eBay, you may. I think there are many other better ways to make money on eBay. I think that buying from Alibaba and trying to flip on eBay, I think is one of the most difficult ways to do it. Very good, very good. Markdown sale or public coupon, that is a good debate right there. If I was going to do a 20% markdown or a 20% coupon, I would prefer to do a 10% markdown and a 10% coupon. That way you check the boxes of running multiple promotions, because I think eBay likes that. According to the listing quality report, one of the fields on there that they do have is, are you running a promotion? Yes or no. Harold said, what's up, beautiful people? That's right. Oh, the best name on Instagram. Tina Misdemeanor is in the chat. That is the best name on Instagram. That is the best name on YouTube. Tina Misdemeanor. I love that name. Los Angeles Thrifter. Every time I need motivation comes to the channel, I appreciate that. We got Sir Pedro in the chat. I think you're up in Georgia right now. Hope you're having a good time over there. Sir Pedro is also asking, do you have the Tech and Sports shirts in red? I do not. I just got black and white. And all the people who ordered in the UK and Australia, they got all of their stuff yesterday. So everything from the very first batch where we announced it 2 weeks ago is delivered. If you're interested and you want to indulge yourself, I got some really cool shirts on resellergreatness.com. They come in white and black. They're very good quality. Everyone loves them so far. The person who makes them is my wife's sister. She used to work for the eBay business, but she moved away, saved up her money, moved away to Central Florida to greener pastures. And now she makes t-shirts. So, I figured out I would support her business, throw her a bone. And if you guys want cool stuff, I'm going to run them for a limited time and have at it. Resellergreatness.com, but I do not have red, Sir Pedro. I apologize. This black and white. Sam said they had the same thing. Someone canceled an order and left a neutral, and then they wouldn't remove it either. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What is the best way to have a thriving business by the end of summer? The best way to have a thriving business by the end of summer is absolutely commit yourself and immerse yourself in learning how eBay works, learning the market, learning the platform, learning what items people are actually looking for. A lot of times, especially for beginners, they buy items that nobody is looking for. And I was talking to somebody the other day. They're a beginner. I was fielding a bunch of questions, and then they showed me stuff that they picked up. And it was horrible stuff. But like, to them, they know the brands like Columbia. Hey, I know Columbia. I think Columbia is a good seller. these brands that are highly saturated. And sure, Colombia does sell, but like those aren't the items that are going to make us successful eBay sellers more often than not. So we need to learn how to identify the brands that are not saturated, identify the brands that have much more demand than supply. And 2 weeks ago on Thursday, I spent the morning call and we went into a random niche and I found 18 brands in 55 minutes that had over a 100% sell through. Some of them had upwards of 1,000% sell through. Each and every one of them would give you a $20 profit. Each and every one of them was high margin. Some of them were $40, $50 profit each. And that's what you have to do. You have to go into every single category within your niche, identify the best of the best brands, and then figure out how to find those brands. So this weekend, my wife and I, we went away. We went to a different part of Florida that's about 3 hours away. And when we went to the thrift stores, we went to about 8 thrift stores. Every single thrift store that we went to, we kept finding the same items. We kept finding good FootJoy, good Peter Millar, good Grayson, stuff like that. And it got me thinking that, like, people, they watch the videos and they're like, hey, I can't find anything. I can't find that type of stuff. And it makes perfect sense. Like, we went 3 hours away. We went to, a kind of affluent area. We went to a golf community. So we found performance, we found lightweight, we found dry fit, we found outdoor clothing, we found golf clothing. If you live in Oregon, you're not going to find FootJoy, Peter Millar, Travis Matthew. You're not going to find that stuff at the same percentage, same clip that I am, where vice versa, I'm not going to find heavy duty barn jackets, Carhartt, workwear. I'm not going to find the same stuff as the Pacific Northwest. Or if you live in Maine, you probably find an abundance of LL Bean. I'm not going to find that in the same percentage. And when I go to the flea market that's 1 hour up the road, I find a lot of Lilly Pulitzer. Lilly Pulitzer is from West Palm Beach. That's a West Palm Beach brand. That flea market is in West Palm Beach. So it makes perfect sense that I find a lot of Lilly Pulitzer. I also find a lot of Lululemon over there because it's a very athleisure type of demographic. Now, when I go to Orlando, that's 3 hours away, I find zero Lilly Pulitzer. I find zero Lululemon. That's just how it goes. So, like, inside every single portion of the United States, there's going to be a pocket of different stuff that we can find. And then inside of each portion, it's kind of divided up inside of that too. So, like, on the west coast of Florida, I found so much golf stuff. When I go to Palm Beach, I find a lot of Lilly Pulitzer and Lululemon. When I go to Orlando, I find different stuff. And that is, the challenge in doing this, where, like, you can't just watch like a bunch of YouTube and be like, okay, now I need to go out and find these items. If these items are not in your area, then you're honestly wasting your time. So what you have to do is take the initiative, immerse yourself in the market, figure out what people are selling, figure out what people are listing, figure out what items are selling for in your area, and then go out and find those items. It does you no good to learn what I can find in South Florida and you live in Nebraska. It makes you absolutely no good. So what would I do if I wanted to have a great business in a couple of months? I would immerse myself in the research, immerse myself in the market. That's what I would do. Matthew said, thanks for giving them confidence. Keep going forward with the business when no one was believing in them. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Beauty Chic said it right. You just need $1 and a dream. That's it. Metro Detroit Maria says she's catching the first live. We appreciate you. While you're here, we got some records to beat. We need 850 likes, and we need at least 753 people in here at one time. That is a tall task. The 850 should be an easy victory for all of us. What is the next can't miss flea market in Florida? I think the next can't miss flea market in Florida is probably Memorial Day, Monday, Webster. I don't know if I'm going to go, but that's probably like the next big one in Florida. And for me, it's tough to go to Webster because it's like 5 or 6 hours away. So like a 12-hour round trip. So like if I'm not already in Orlando and like 1 hour away or 2 hours away, I really have to hit a home run grand slam to make a 12-hour round trip worth it. So if I happen to be up in Orlando or up in North Florida at that time and Webster's popping off, I'll go. If not, then I won't go. But I think the next big one is Memorial Day. I think it's the 27th. The 27th, Memorial Day, Webster should be popping off. Manager says, struggling with price. I think I overpriced trying to price at market per comps Terapeak. Absolutely. You have to look at what's active, look at the solds, make an assessment, and then take the price from there. What's the number one way eBay has changed from 1 year ago? I think all the tools that they offer, like, a lot of people like to say, like, hey, like the good old days, like, it was so easy back then. But like, look, you guys have coupons, you have offers to watchers, you have newsletters, you have buyer groups. Those four functions alone, which are free for everybody, is a massive producer of a bunch of sales, which like we didn't have up until very recent. Now they have introduced cubic shipping. They have introduced ground advantage all the way up to 70 pounds. And that's not even including that the market cap for pre-owned, the market cap for people that are shopping online is absolutely huge. I was looking on it the other day and it was absolutely crazy. So in 2008, people spent $204 billion online. In the chat, guess how much money people spent online last year, 2023. In 2008, $204 billion were spent online. Last year, $1.19 trillion was spent online. 22% of all retail sales happen online now. So we have coupons, offers to watchers, newsletters, buyer groups, cubic shipping, ground advantage. $1.19 trillion are spent online for retail. 22% of all sales are online. It's crazy. So like when we talk about like things are saturated, when we talk about things are hard, I get it. It is hard. It is saturated, but like look at the opportunity. 1.19 trillion. The difference between 200 billion and 1.19 trillion is incomprehensible for us to even try to understand the amount of difference in dollars between those two numbers in such a short period of time. And it's only going to get more and more and more as people age up and become more accustomed to buying online. So we have all of the tools at our disposal. eBay gives us everything that we need, and we have all of the customers right at our fingertips. So is it saturated? Yes. But is the top of the mountain saturated where most of the sales are happening? The answer is no. The bottom of the mountain is highly saturated. And if you guys want to play on the bottom of the mountain in the highly saturated area, then that's on you. If you want to get better, if you want to learn keywords, if you want to learn how to make quality listings, if you want to find better product, if you want to be a better eBay seller, it's lonely at the top, I tell you that. Because go ahead, go onto eBay right now, make a search, a generic search, see how many are there. Go down and select free returns and see how many people are left. Eric says, I have 200 items listed. Should I pay for an eBay store? That's up to you. You can go to eBay. They have a tool on there. If you Google what eBay store is right for me, they have a tool, a tutorial, a walkthrough. I think that even with the lower level stores, just access to all the things that we talked about, promotions, newsletter, buyer groups, all of that kind of stuff, I think is worth the price. Fireball Flipper said they almost missed. Hey, we glad you're here. We glad you made it, because we need everybody, all hands on deck, to be able to beat some records today, which is 850 likes and 753 people in the chat. So let's refresh it. If you're new, I'm asking you, what are the most controversial debates in reselling? We have a couple good ones from the chat. Gene Queen says printers. People die on the printer hill. Nina had a good one. Photos from digital camera or photo from a phone. That is a good one too. Free shipping, no shipping. Wash the clothes, don't wash the clothes. Even though that's a rule, people still want to debate it. What are some great timeless reseller debates? I want to hear it in the chat. What say you? What say you? Great questions so far today. Again, if you do pop a question in, throw me some question marks in the beginning of your question. That way I don't miss it. It's hard to catch up with all the people in the chat, but if you put some question marks before, make sure. Diane says, why are you doing current videos buying clothes at the flea market if you decide to reduce to only hats? That's because I wholesale pallets. I still sell about 2,000 pieces of clothes per day. And I make more money now selling pallets than I did manually listing one by one, just due to the sheer velocity of the amount of items that I'm able to sell. So every single day, here you go, 2 pallets going out. Every single day we send out 1 or 2 pallets. Each pallet has 1,000 pieces. And on eBay, I sold 250 items a day. Sure, I might have made $15 or $20 profit on each. But with the clothing, I make $2 or $3 profit each times 2,000 items. You know, you make $4,000, $6,000 a day. No photos, no listing, no got to ship your item out or else you get a defect. And at once upon a time, the most valuable asset to my business was me sitting my butt in the chair and listing items. And then it evolved to the most valuable asset in my business was my access to inventory. And now that I have access to inventory, now that I have, you know, great streams of inventory coming in, I just throw it on a pallet and you know, sell it like that. So I sell more clothes today than I did as an eBay seller. The hats are for me, the hats are for fun, but don't get it twisted. Just because I took a step back from eBay, I don't take a loss or take L's or decrease anything. The clothing business is up and running and will do more in sales this year than I have ever done in any years previous. And I pick up the clothing at the flea markets for educational purposes to show you guys, but all of that stuff goes right on the pallet. Right on the pallet, my friends. Can't figure out how to list similar from Draft Bank. Is that only from listings? You can list similar from Draft Bank. It's a little difficult. You have to open up the draft on the top left-hand corner. It should say sell similar, sell one like this. That's the best way to do it. It's not perfect, but that's the best way to do it. The Closet Scratcher said, if you price competitively, do you leave best offer on or turn it off knowing you've priced accordingly in the comps? I price competitively and still accept best offer personally. Jamie with the $2 super chat. What's good? Same old, living the dream. I do appreciate the $2 super chat. However, it is not necessary at all. I'm just happy to be here, happy to help. I just need the attention and a commitment to be actionable, and it's mission accomplished. But I do appreciate it, but it is not necessary at all. DJ Sharper Image says, do you use Terapeak, the eBay analytics for brand research? That is a controversial debate right there. I am team actives and solds. I know my friend Nina, she is team Terapeak. She did a great walkthrough of Terapeak inside of the group. But I am team active and solds. If you guys wish to use Terapeak, you may. I think it's just a matter of preference. Also for me, like I didn't grow up with Terapeak in my eBay career. I grew up with the actives and solds. I think actives and solds is much faster. But Terapeak does give you some pretty good information. So that is a good reseller debate right there as well. What are alternative business models that can be pursued on eBay besides thrifting? There's a ton. You can make money any kind of different way. You could buy storage units. You could do a scrap route, trash route. You can buy off on eBay, flip back on eBay. You can buy on eBay, flip on Amazon. You could do pallets. You could do liquidation. You could do garage sale, flea market. You can do private label. You can, there's a million ways to make money. You just got to pick one. Bygone said, continuous coupon versus just pricing well. I believe in doing both. General says, is it hard to stop reselling, especially when there's profitable items everywhere? There's not, because I'm still making more profit as is right now, and I'm still reselling, you know, right now, even more items at a higher clip. It's just a different approach, a different game. So I'll always be selling items. I love to find items that people don't care about and make money on them. Beauty says, I notice I only want to pick up items for $1. How do I get out of that mindset? Hey, it takes money to make money. And a lot of people, especially people that started at the bins, they get crippled into that. I can't spend more than $1 for an item. But I would rather pay more for a good item than get bad items for cheap. So I would rather pay more for a good items than get bad items for cheap. And a lot of people, they get stuck in that and go, you know what, this was only $1, so I'll pick it up. I don't want garbage at any price. I only want good items. And if I have to pay up for good items, then that's just what I have to do. So it takes money to make money. Please just remember, it takes money to make money. If you got to spend up, then make sure that the profit is proportional to that. What is the best way to reduce wrinkles? So I like to wash everything as soon as I get it. And after I wash it, I stack it flat and I keep stacking clothes on top of my pile. And as you stack the clothes, it acts like a press. It has gravity pulling it down. And I've never ironed anything. I've never steamed anything. I've never de-wrinkled anything. I don't know if I even own an iron. My wife is in the chat. She could tell you. I don't even know if I own an iron. I have never ironed a single item for the eBay machine. I stack items flat, perfectly flat. You can stack them all the way to the roof. And by doing that, that is the best wrinkle remover I have ever seen. Harold, what's going on? We sell new replenishables considering physical mail advertisement to our repeat buyers for restocks and new items, opinions, experience. You have to be careful if those buyers were acquired through eBay. You have to be very careful about that. If you are doing it through a website, you have to make sure that you do have a disclosure about that. So definitely check into that. Bygone says, Miss Tech, how did you put up with him when he was sick the other month? Not good. She was sick too at the same time. Not good is the answer. John Klug says, did you always have a no haggle policy? Always. I don't negotiate. Either the deal is for me or it's not for me. Oftentimes when I pick up an item at the flea market, I already know how much they're going to charge me. I've been going to the flea market for long enough where I know how much the price is going to be. Therefore, that's why I'm picking it up. And I pick up items that afford enough margin where I don't have to negotiate. I think if you are negotiating even over a couple of dollars, you have to ask yourself, is this item even good enough for me to pick up? Because if $1 in a negotiation or $2 or $3 in the negotiation is going to make or break the purchase, then we really, really, really have to evaluate whether or not this was a good item. So as you guys see, when I go to the flea markets, I rarely spend over $5, rarely spend $10. Everything is $5 or under, including clothes, hats, even some shoes. Sometimes the shoes are $10, no problem. But everything that I buy has a great average sale price and a lot of margin. So like I don't have to negotiate. And if you find yourself negotiating over a couple of dollars, we need to ask ourselves, is this item even good enough for me to pick up? If it was, then it wouldn't require a negotiation. That's my opinion. However, that is a great reseller debate right there. Negotiating. Is negotiating just part of reselling? Is negotiating just part of reselling, part of the fun of reselling? A lot of people enjoy negotiating, get the fun of negotiating. No problem. The reason why I do not negotiate is because it takes too much time. And when I first started going to the flea market, I had like an arch nemesis out there, and he would negotiate about everything. And I remember one time I walked past him and he was negotiating on $1 on a great item that was going to sell $50 or something. He was trying to get him down from 6 to 5 or something like that. And 3 feet away on the next vendor, on the next table, I picked up a Game Boy SP that the guy wanted $5 for that I sold for 75. Had he paid the $1, he would have moved one step, he would have got the SP, and he would have made 75 more dollars. So I don't negotiate because it takes too much time. Now, if you are the believer that negotiation is part of the art of reselling, part of the fun of reselling, no problem. Hey, I'm not the boss of anybody. You run your business how you wish. You source how you wish. If it makes you happy and you're not hurting anybody, hey, you have my blessing for just about anything. But for me, it just takes too much time. And how much time am I losing $1 at a time in negotiation when I could just keep it moving? And if anyone is in the chat that has seen me in action at the flea market, you know I'm moving, I'm popping, shaking, and moving out there. We are running, sprinting. I'm not stopping because I want to have the most amount of opportunities. I took the time and acquired as much knowledge as I possibly could. Now I want to give myself the most amount of opportunity. And if I can lap the flea market 2 or 3 times, by the time you lap it once, I'm going to win. So that's my philosophy behind negotiations. If you wish to negotiate, hey, no sweat. But I would ask yourself, is this $3 that I'm trying to negotiate, is that making or breaking the deal? And if it's making the deal, then ask yourself, is this even a good item in the first place? We have Jewel in the chat. I like Jewel. I like Jewel when Jewel likes listing. Jewel has an insane sell-through, but we can't get her to list. Everyone in the chat, tell Jewel get the listing. I talked to her this morning. She says she's getting back on the horse. She has some crazy, insane sell-through, like 300 active, 600 sold, but she don't like to list. I'm convinced Jewel doesn't like money, because if I had that sell-through, you couldn't tear me away from the computer. Pam says she lives 40 miles from Webster. Maybe we see you out there. Thank you. Matt says eBay called to sell Google ads. You got to be careful, man. Like a lot of times when eBay contacts you, it's to sell some sort of promoted listings, whether it's the pay-per-click version or the advanced version, which is the offsite ads. They do that. So, go into it educated, go into it knowing what's going on, go into it knowing the pros and the cons, and perhaps even the repercussions of expanding or extending your promoted listings. Can you afford it? A lot of people are promoting themselves out of business. But they've been doing that for a long time. They've been doing that ever since they instituted the original promoted listings way back. And promoted listings is it's a genius idea by eBay, and I am not a hater. I am a capitalist. They are doing a great job making more money when they have their quarterly calls. They make $300 or $400 million in profit just on promoted listings, and it is a genius idea because that is a way for eBay to make more money without acquiring a new customer, without doing anything, just making more money. Now, we are going to run into a problem eventually because promoted listings are default based to the dynamic rate, which fluctuates. And a lot of people don't know that they are enrolled in the dynamic rate. Even professional resellers, never mind the civilian or the layman's. And this dynamic rate is just going to constantly inch up, inch up, inch up, inch up. And in my personal opinion, no facts, my personal opinion, I think that the algorithm has heavily favored or skewed towards promoted listings there, so eBay can get a larger final value fee. So since eBay has now skewed the algorithm towards promoted listings, it is a game that most people are now forced to play, and the dynamic rate is just going to inch up. When it first started, the recommended was 4%, 5%, 6%. Now it's 10, 15, 20%. One day the recommended promoted listings may be 30 or 40%. And what do we do when our seller fees now jump up to 80%? It's going to be very difficult. And there's only going to be three ways to succeed, in my opinion. One is to accept a smaller margin, meaning we're going to have to list more, sell more, photograph more, source more, pick more, and work more for the same amount of money that we have today. We're going to have to sell more items for a smaller profit for the same amount of money today. We can highly educate ourselves and pick items that do not require promoted listings, like the call that I did a week or so ago on 18 great brands that have 100% plus sell-through. You don't need promoted listings for any of those. So acquire the knowledge where you don't have to play the promoted listings game, or you're going to have a very large inventory and wait for your turn when eBay, cycles through the impressions and gives you your shot. And you're going to have to play the waiting game. If you don't want to play the promotion game, you're going to have to play the waiting game, which is going to result in a larger inventory. Maintain your margin, but a larger inventory. And a larger inventory comes with more infrastructure and overhead. Maybe you outgrow your house, you got to get a storage unit. Maybe you got to get a warehouse, and maybe your inventory becomes so large you need help picking and running the whole thing. So it comes with labor. So I think 3, 5, 7, 10 years down the line, unless eBay arbitrarily caps promoted listings for whatever reason, which I don't know why they would, because it just lines their pockets with cash without acquiring a new customer. There's going to be three ways: accept a smaller margin, which means you got to do more work, get highly educated, and get items that do not require promoted listings, or carry a larger inventory than you have today and wait your turn and don't play the promoted game. So they are highly incentivized to sell you promoted listings. How do we find items that are selling in our area? Since every area is different, you can find all of that information right on the eBay machine. Sir Pedro, Mom is in the house. Hey, we have to get Mom on a separate device right now. Give us a separate thumbs up because we need 753 people in the chat. Right now, it looks like we have over 500, so we're doing very nice. And we need 850 likes. How many likes do we have in the chat? Sir Pedro, we need Mom on a different device giving us a like, please. Victor says there is a step-by-step video in the Facebook group on how you list so fast. Absolutely there is. We got it all in the Facebook group, believe that. What else do we got? Chat jumped, unbelievable. I was on a roll with the chat, but it looks, I got a lot of, oh man, this is not good. This is, you guys, holy, 50% of the chat. All right, I got to catch up. Do you entertain lowball offers or counter, or just automatically decline the clowns? I entertain every single offer. You send me $1, I'll play the game and I'll counter back. No sweat to me. I'd rather have action on the item than no action. David said they're planning on getting a storage unit to keep the inventory clothing. Do you recommend my climate or drive up? I would recommend climate, especially if you're doing clothing. I know it costs more, but if possible, I would recommend the climate. Absolutely. Do you think that selling local sports team stuff a good bread and butter business? I often see people from Oregon and Denver say they don't find stuff to sell, but I would think there's a lot there. You have to check the team. I mean, some teams like the Florida Marlins, like you can't give that stuff away, but like some teams like, the Oregon Ducks or the USC Trojans or the Yankees or the Red Sox, absolutely it could be very viable. So I would definitely go in there and check the sell through and make sure that the teams that you are picking up do have demand, because you could stack up on teams that no one cares about. Like, I don't know, there's like the Florida Marlins is a great example. Like nobody cares. You can have the best Florida Marlins stuff, nobody's buying it. Oh, a great controversial debate. Ar Armani, D-list, relist. That's a good one. I'm not even brave enough to enter into that arena. That might be one of the most controversial debates. D-list, relist. That's a good one. Jules says to cross list or not. That is a good one too. Very good one. D-list, relist might be the biggest one. That's a good one. If a seller is selling an item for a steal, are you obligated to pay up? No, the market is the market. If someone listed too cheap, the market is the market. Jovan says listing every day versus not listing every day. Listing every day is scientifically proven due to graphs that we have in the group. When you do not list, your traffic and impressions go down. When you start listing, pops right back up. So definitely try to list every single day. Oh, Tina Mr. Mina got a good one. Thrift stores hate resellers and have raised the prices because of us, or thrift stores appreciate resellers. That is a good one. Miss Elizabeth, flat rate versus free shipping. That is a good one. To promote or not promote. Filling out required item specifics or only filling out the ones that apply. That is a good one. Can says, wait, why doesn't everyone do free returns? The label isn't as expensive. Plus, I'm confident in my items. So I will rarely get a return. I'm with you. I subscribe to that. I have been doing free returns for over 10 years, way before eBay has incentivized it whatsoever. What else do we got? Do I sell to Europe? I absolutely do sell to Europe. I absolutely do sell to Europe through the global shipping program. And if you're not enrolled in the global shipping program, definitely check it out, because you don't have to do anything different. All you do is send it out to eBay, to the eBay global shipping program, and they take care of everything. Our newsletters only for subscribers. Can you send to previous buyers, and how often should you? So when you do the newsletters, you can select who to send it to, and through there, you can select who to send it to, and it does give you different offers, followers, subscribers, previous buyers, all of that good stuff. Eric says they have one that really bothers them. Resellers that refund shipping costs that buyers overpay. It grinds his gears. Yeah, that is one right there too. Absolutely. Debate, take returns or no. I think returns is not a debate, but some people do argue that. Nick says, I have turned into a rag house. Can you come shop? I don't know if you're in South Florida, I guess. So give me a ring. Beauty says, did you hear that about Macari reverting the return policy? I did hear that. Bobby the buyer says, so is Plant City the best market you hit? Not necessarily. I mean, it's okay. It's hit and miss. It's all right. It's hit and miss. When did you know it was time to go full time? I'm sick of my 9 to 5 and I'm making enough consistently to pay the bills. It's very difficult for me to give that advice because every person is different. I would hate to tell someone, hey, leave your job and do this. Like, this is very hard and it is not guaranteed. And the money comes sometimes and sometimes it don't. That's what happens when you work for yourself. I would say make sure that you are consistently making more than what you make at your day job, that you have a good slush fund built up, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever your risk tolerance is. And I would judge and forecast my business and my budget based on my worst month. And if you are judging, forecasting, and budgeting based on your best month, you are doing yourself a disservice. So make sure that you're budgeting based on the worst month. All right, remember, we have 850 likes, which is the record. We have to beat the record for 850 likes. And let's try to get 753 people in the chat. That is also a record. 850 likes. That should be an easy victory. Someone give me a check-in. How many likes are we at? Are you familiar with Torgrim? I am. Torgrim is probably the best rag house out there, but you do need a reseller license and highly competitive. Is there a step-by-step video on Facebook how you list? There is. You can go dumpster diamond if you are super broke. You could do the curb alert. You could do the scrap route. Been there, done that. Cap says, have you ever heard about Linda's stuff? I have. She has been selling for a very long time. She does a lot of consignment. She is also the one who is, I guess, sanctioned to do eBay's new consignment program. So good for her. Very good. When you still retire, will you still be active in the group? So I will be active in the group so long as I could provide value. When I can no longer provide value, I will go find something else to do. And that applies to the group and that applies to eBay. I don't need to do the group forever. Sorry, that applies to YouTube. I don't need to do the group forever. I don't need to do YouTube forever. If I could provide value, I will do it. If I cannot provide value, I will go find something else to do. I will go sit on a lake. I will go fishing. I will go hiking. I will go find something else to do when I can no longer provide value. Believe that. Purple Cactus says, finally made it to the live chat. We appreciate you. Bygone says, so I bought garbage at $1, not eBayable. Then what? So you can try to list it on eBay 99 cents. Hopefully you get your dollar back. If not, if it's not eBayable, you could have a garage sale. You could set up at the flea market. You could sell it on Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, OfferUp, Craigslist, maybe bundle it to another reseller because every single person's reseller metric is different. So maybe it's great inventory for them. You can donate it. You could take it behind the barn. There's a million things to do, but you know, at best, we got to be able to turn a small profit. At worst, we got to be able to break even. Marnie says, you're right. No Lily Pulitzer in Orlando. It's not. It's in West Palm Beach. It's a West Palm Beach brand. We got Noel in the chat. Happy to see you, Noel. I looked at Noel's live the other day and I was blown away by the expertise. So if you sell miniatures, you sell collectibles, you sell antiques, Noel knows her stuff, man. And she very, very impressive with what she knows. And you know, I was just taken aback by like all these little things that I would walk by a million times that sell for big money. And Noelle knew every single thing about them. So shout out to Noelle. She's one of the moderators here. She helps out from time to time. I appreciate her. And also shout out to Michelle, Reseller Project. She's the best. Will says, where do you sell the pallets? Just local or ship? No, I ship them everywhere. To Puerto Rico, to California, wherever they got to go, that's where they go. Does the group have good shipping tutorials? We have everything. We have tutorials, walkthroughs, beginner stuff, 30 live calls on every single niche. I host a morning call every single day. We have show and tell Wednesdays, Gene Queen's Bright Idea. We got Flex Friday where someone's going to share the knowledge and school everybody. We have every single niche imaginable, every single tutorial or walkthrough or trust me, we have it. If you guys see how I do YouTube, you guys see how I answer all of these questions, it's the same thing in the group. It is an absolute fire hose of information. Everything is in there. If you're asking, do we have it? The answer is yes. Metro Detroit Maria says, is scheduling listings really any different than making drafts go live? That is a good reseller debate right there. Some people says it is, some people says it's the same. In my personal opinion, I have seen that launching drafts, I have better results than letting scheduled listings go live. However, I didn't allow for a long enough time to capture a good enough data set for me to fully say one way or another. I did see a very substantial dip for a few days. And I got off the sinking ship and I went right back to drafts. We got 480 or 275 thumbs up. Come on, guys, we need to get 850. If you're in the chat, hit the thumbs up. It's easy to do. We got to bring home a gold medal. The 753 people is going to be extremely hard to do. That's going to be hard to do. 850 likes. I feel like we could beat that every single week. Bethany says, do viewers, not watchers, get notified if you drop the price without paying for a store? So if you drop the price 5% or more, sometimes people who just viewed the item, they will get an email alert. Not always, but if you drop it 5% or more, sometimes they will get that email. Green Eye Muse, on negotiations, what do you do when the person doesn't know what they want to sell it for? Do you not want to offend them by giving an accurate price? Look, if they don't know a price, then the item is not for sale. And if they go, well, you tell a price, this works every single time. I say, well, I'm the buyer, you're the seller. My job is to buy the item, your job is to sell the item. And when you put it like that, and I tell them, I can't sell it and buy it, I can only buy it. They always throw you a price after that. So I always tell them, say, hey, you're the seller, I'm the buyer, I cannot sell it, I can only buy it. So what's the price? And if they still don't know a price, then the item is not for sale. If they know a price, then the item is for sale. Top one thing to keep in mind when going from iPhone photography to listing digital camera. You just got to make sure that your settings are right on the camera. And once they're right, just don't change anything. We run an eBay store for a large school district. Do you have any ideas for this? We print on demand with simple pre-made transfers. That's pretty cool. I guess I would try to advertise to everybody in the district and try to get them to support the school district and let them know where the funds are going to be going to, how much money you could raise, maybe have a goal of money to raise and kind of rally the troops in the district, kind of make it into kind of like a feel good, community support type thing. And I think that's probably the best thing for you right there. Would you ever be a mentor to someone? I think mentor is a very strong word, but I try every single day to help 2,400 people in the group and 10,000 people a day on YouTube that watch the videos. So I'm not comfortable with the word mentor or anything like that, but I just try to be as helpful as possible every single day. And, hopefully it's working. DJ Sharperimus said they're going to start doing the flea markets, telling all the vendors to bring more clothes next week. That's the tip, man. If you hear me every single time, I always say, hey, do you have more? Hey, can you get more? And I keep asking until they say no. And that's how you get all the stuff. Everyone in the chat telling Jewel, get the listings up. Just came in the chat. So what are you saying is not to promote any of our listings? I think maybe you need to go all the way back to the beginning. Those words, never promote your listings, have never, ever come out of my mouth, not even one time. So I don't know what stream you're listening to, but go back to the beginning and start this one over, because I have never said not to promote any of the listings. Never said that. Very good, very good, very good. Catching up in the chat. We are doing great. Chat jumped again, but I'm almost to the bottom. That was very good. I think I was almost to the, no, I wasn't. You guys are keeping me busy, man. Saran says they got the wife on a separate device listening and liking. We need more of that. Serrano is a team player, and Serrano's wife is a team player as well. Shout out to you guys. I've had some returns that had issues I missed. I full refund and don't want it back. For some reason, the buyers are shipping them back to me. I thought if they got a full refund right away, it closed it, but eBay gives them a label automatically immediately, so they still have that label. That's why. Switch to free shipping 30 days, but can you explain what return shipping paid by buyer or seller? Currently have it as buyer. What should it be? So there's two reasons for return. One is buyer's remorse. One is item not as described. Buyer's remorse is wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better price, no longer need, change mind. Those ones, the buyer would pay the shipping back how you have it set up. And then there's item not as described, such as item not as described, not pictured, arrived damaged, broken, missing parts or pieces, not as photoed. For those ones, you still have to pay the return shipping. So based on the return reason, buyer's remorse or item not as described, that's going to dictate who pays the return shipping for how you have it set up, private figure. In my area, thrifting prices are very high. What strategy do you use when sourcing? You just have to go where the prices are not as high. When I went thrifting this weekend, it was an impromptu thrift route where I'm going to upload that video on Monday. That was the cheapest prices I have ever seen at the thrift store. And that was about 3 hours away from my house. My wife and I, we went to check into a hotel and they wanted to charge us to get in early. And I said, no, thank you. I'll just go make some money real quick. And we hit like 8 thrift stores. That was the cheapest prices that I've ever seen. And I think the prices were so cheap, especially on the outerwear, because it's out of season in Florida. So like I was getting really good outerwear stuff for 99 cents, $1.99. I have never seen prices that cheap. So on my side where I live, my average cost of goods at the thrift store was always between $7 and $8. If I was here and I was having trouble finding inventory, I would drive 3 hours away and I would go over there and get stuff for the cheap and drive 3 hours back. And I was talking about this last night on the Tuesday night call that I host. And in baseball, they have a saying that says, you got to hit it where they ain't. So if you want to get a hit, you can hit the ball as hard as you want. But if you hit it right to the third baseman, he's going to catch it every single time. You got to hit the ball where they ain't. You can hit the weakest hit in the world, but so long as you hit it where they ain't, you're still going to get on base. So it's the same thing with the thrift store. It's the same thing with sourcing. You have to go where the prices ain't high. So you got to hit it where they ain't. If the prices ain't high 2 hours away, then I'm sorry. I apologize. That's where you got to go. It would be great if we can all go right across the street. It would be great if we can go right to Plato's Closet, one Plato's Closet, and then just be presented with a bunch of great items. That would be great. However, that's not realistic. That's not how it works. You have to go where the items are. And for me, when I went to my flea market was an hour away. I went there 3 times a week. Sometimes on the sourcing route didn't start until an hour away. So like I was spending probably 20 hours a week just driving on my sourcing route at the peak. So, you have to go where the prices ain't high. And that's just, there's no other way to do it. I apologize, but there's no other way to do it. You got to hit the road and you got to go earlier and you got to go to more stores and you got to go further out. I'm sorry. Very good, very good, very good. What are the first step that you recommend to opening a brick and mortar store? I actually talked about this in a video where I'm holding the phone and the title is I found a $1,700 item in the garbage. And I gave three tips. One is make sure that your paperwork is right. If you're working under the table, if you don't want to turn a profit, if you're going in any kind of respectable shopping center or trying to get any respectable piece of real estate that is not under the table or underhanded, they're going to want to see your financials. They're going to want to see profit and loss. They're going to want to see you running a legitimate business, making a legitimate profit, so they can have some belief and some faith that you're going to pay them the rent. So you're going to want to make sure your paperwork is right. Number two, you're going to want to make sure that you know how to get people in the door. And something I learned very, very quickly, when people walk in the door, I make money. When people do not walk in the door, I do not make money. So you have to make sure that you know how to attract your customer, and location is helpful. My store is about 300 yards away from a high school, between the high school and the McDonald's. And if you know anything about high schoolers, every single high schooler walks past the store and they go to McDonald's. Sometimes they come in, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they know about the store. They come back with their mom. They come back with their dad. They come back with their older brother. They come back in a group on the weekends. That helps my store a lot. I also did advertising on Instagram. And on Instagram, you could do within a radius. I did a 10-mile radius and targeted my exact demographic of customer. And then also you have to make sure that you have a great week of inventory every single week. A lot of people start a brick and mortar store with their entire lifetime collection of 3 years, and they have a great first 2 weeks. Everything gets sold, and then what? Then what? Then they have nothing. And then you walk into the store, the racks are bare, or it's the same stuff that you've seen for 3 months. So you have to make sure your paperwork is right, that you can attract a customer, and that you're going to have good inventory every single time people come in. Very good, very good. Gray or white background. I prefer as close to white as possible without being white. Very good. Revise or lower price or offer a coupon. I think if we revise and we make the listing better, more attractive keywords, maybe reassess the price, maybe the market has changed or shifted since the time of purchase. I think revising is always the best to do. If you've totally maxed out the quality of the listing and it's still not selling, then you have to play with the price. Very good. You have an expensive wool sweater that has a bunch of white fuzzies and hairs all over it. Sell it as is for less, or put 20 to 60 minutes to work hard picking the item. I mean, it depends. Is the sweater worth like a bajillion dollars? If it is, then spend the time to do it. If the sweater is not worth it and you can make more money doing something else, then definitely list it as is, take a note and let the buyer know. Have you ever been to Canton Trade Days in Texas? I have not. How to strategize schedule listings, pick a start date, or just hit goal every day and then schedule for the next day and build up. Yeah, hit a goal every day and then start scheduling them. Absolutely. Have you ever sold camo hunting items that aren't vintage? I have. They sell great, no problem. Very good. Best practices when switching. I answered that one, Hugo. What input can you give on the shelves I posted in the group? I will be over there and check out all those posts and respond to all those questions right after this. Sleeve measurements on the garments, if you wish, no problem. I personally didn't do the sleeve measurement. I was asked a handful of times. I provided them when I was asked, but I think it depends on what you sell. If you're selling a blazer, you're selling a button-down shirt or a dress shirt, sleeve measurements are probably a little bit more important than if you're selling just a regular t-shirt. But I didn't provide sleeve measurements, but it absolutely would not be hurtful at all. Clyde says, does the Facebook group provide guidance selling on Amazon? They do. We have Jack in there. Jack is a absolute expert on Amazon. He hosts the call on Friday night. Mike says, thank you for all the knowledge, all things eBay. My pleasure. Thank you for accepting it and implementing and doing something actionable, hopefully. Do you ever have trouble uploading photos when creating a listing on the computer? Sometimes you do. Try to sign in, sign out. Maybe it could put you on a different server or try to change browsers. But sometimes eBay is just funny. Express payout has not worked on eBay for over a month. I would call eBay on that one. Diamond says they're in West Palm Beach and didn't even know Lily Pulitzer West Palm Beach brand. Yeah, look it up. It says Lily Pulitzer Palm Beach right on the tag a lot of times. At what point did it click with you that you could do 1 million plus solo, and what made you believe it was even possible? Because everyone else said it was impossible. That's why I did it. That is the honest truth. Everybody said it was impossible. That's why I did it. That's the honest truth. A lot of people said like there was this cap, like there's only so much you could do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I was absolutely getting after it 18 hours a day, not finishing until 2 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at 4. Absolutely, that's what I was doing. But when people say stuff is not possible in a very slick way, I have a problem with that. So I only did it because people said it was impossible to do. And a lot of stuff that I've done, people have said it was impossible to do, and that's why I did it. Do you believe the food you eat is who you are? If it was, I would be a turkey or a slice of pizza. If you find Peter Millar golf polo with a course embroidery, but there's none listed or sold for that course, are you picking it up? It depends. If it's like the golf course, like a community golf course around the corner, those are a little more difficult to sell. If it's like a nationally known course, those are much easier. So it does depend. And it depends on like how ridiculous the embroidery is. Like if it's like a huge, ridiculous embroidery of like the Northwest 12th Street Community Golf Course, it ruins the shirt sometimes. But you know, if it's discreet on the sleeve and the shirt has a nice pattern, I would be more inclined to do it. What do you think about ending a listing and selling similar? I think if you're going to end and sell similar, that some sort of revision or improvement should be made to the listing. We have Terry in the chat. Good to see you, Terry. Terry was on the reseller rescue video. I like Terry. Terry's good. Would you pick up Colombia? It depends. There are good stuff in Colombia, but for the most part, it is very, very saturated. So you definitely have to check it out. Very good, very good. The chat has jumped. Guys, just so everybody knows in the chat, guys, I see people like asking the same question a bunch of times. Look, the chat is on a delay and there's a bunch of people in the chat and I'm answering every single question as it comes. Trust me. If you put question marks, I got you. If I skip it on accident, it's been a long time, put it in again. But the express payout question that's been asked a couple of times, I've answered it. You have to call eBay. Nobody else can help you. I can't help you with eBay paying you. No one in the chat can help you. Something is wrong with your account. You need to call eBay. Call eBay and let them know. Sharper Image says I need to get a photography background. I'm thinking about using the cardboard. It could work. I have never considered listing for charity, personally. What else do we got? I know you have to had deals with the flea markets and rag houses, any deal at the thrift store. I never wasted my time doing deals at the thrift store because around here at least they turn over the people so quickly. Like every week you go in, they have new workers, new managers. So like I never went after that. I only went after flea market connections and things like that. But as for the thrift store, it was just way too much turnover here to spend a bunch of time and do it. Lessa loves toys. I need to see a question. I don't see no question. All I see is her saying that she needs help, but I don't see a question. So if Lessa has toys have a question, put a bunch of question marks so I can help. And other than that, I can't help. So if you have a question, put a bunch of question marks and I will help you. If I skip it on accident, put a bunch of question marks. But Randy says they're doing free returns. Does eBay use the same service for returns for the customer that I used originally when shipped the item? Not always, especially if you put standard. If you put standard, a lot of times they're going to prompt you to send a priority label. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing either ground advantage or priority, and they will send the associated label. But if you just do standard, then it's at eBay's discretion what they're going to do. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? I like cookies and cream. Second favorite is cookie dough ice cream. Um, are the 2000 clothes you wholesale out handpicked? Yeah, everything is handpicked. There's nothing, I don't do anything random. Do you have an LLC? Does it make sense for resellers to have one? I do, but I am not a professional or a financial advisor or a CPA or an accountant. Definitely check in with one, talk to one. A lot of times you can get a free consultation. Remember, if it is free, you are the product, so it is their job to sell you something. There can be benefits for certain people to become incorporated, but for me personally, I am. But you have to make sure that you do what's right for you. Definitely do research on it. Wright says they have amazing sourcing opportunities in their area. I'm buying way too much, but with homeschooling stops for the summer, I'm able to ramp up my listing and catch up. Still not a good idea. If you have the opportunity to get great stuff, then go out and go get it. What do you think on print on demand on eBay? I think it's very tough. It's very saturated. It's very, very hard because eBay is very brand dependent. And if you cannot, keep up with a good brand and item specifics, it's very, very hard to do because you have to rely on a bunch of keywords. So I think it's very competitive. I think there's a lot of better ways to make money on eBay personally. How often do you update the sell-through rate for all the brands? Is it 3 months, 6 months, or once a year? I think you're referring to the deep dive document. So the brands are up for renewal every 6 months. Noah says they saw we were on live, so hopping on. I appreciate you. We got 572. We have a strong showing. We need to get 850 likes, and the world record is 753 people. So we need to try to get 850 likes. That would be excellent if we could beat that record. Chat jumped again. You guys are really, really, really keeping me busy today. Why do women's pant size almost never actually match the measurement? That is a reselling controversy as well. It's tough, and that's why we need to provide the actual measurements in the photos and the item specifics. Catherine said they've been able to upload. They have not been able to upload videos. A couple people are having that issue as well. I think it's just the eBay, one of those eBay glitches. Do you ever reach extreme burnout from your hard work? I do not. I am rock and roll 24 hours a day. At what point should we form an LLC? I answered that one. When's the best time to list? I believe every single day, and when your customers are online. Yeah, John, honestly, like I did the $1 million things because everybody said you couldn't do it. And if you want me to do something, tell me I can't do it, and I will move mountains and make it happen. Um, is there eBay store reviews in the group? There are. Post your store in the group and we will be right there and we'll give you a lot of helpful tips. Melissa says, when you select sell this item from your purchase history, does the seller receive a message or such? When you select sell this item from your purchase history, does the seller receive a message? No, no. So what is the most controversial debate in reselling? This is my most controversial debate in reselling. Is it some of the money all the time or all of the money some of the time? What is your preferred method of reselling? Some of the money all the time, all of the money some of the time? Because when you talk about that conversation, people say, well, you're destroying the market by taking a lower offer. You should wait for all the money. I wait for all the money. I have sprinkled my fairy dust on it, so therefore it's worth more money than the market allows. I think, to me, like, once we can get past that and make a decision, ideally, in my opinion, some of the money all the time being better than all the money some of the time, I think that you will make way more money in your reselling career once you can get past that point. Do you ship to Germany? I ship to the countries that eBay allows me to ship to. I know Germany has like a bunch of rules for plastic and stuff like that. I didn't get pre-approved for that, but if eBay wants to send it there, they can. Did you ever think about creating your own clothing brand? I did not. Would you try to hold off on starting an LLC for as long as possible? You definitely have to talk to a professional. Wolfman Goodies, $10 super chat. Great show. I appreciate it, but it is not necessary at all. I do appreciate it. I am just here to help. I do appreciate it. I will put that towards the flea market food review fund. So next time I'm at the flea market and they have some expired candy, I'll do it and I'll review it. How do offers work? If you play the game of offers and use all four, can a different customer after that still make an offer? No, absolutely. Any customer can make an offer. It doesn't matter. So Tina says, check to see if you have a local small business administration office in your area. She got free help to set up her LLC. Very good. NCC says they joined late. Not sure if he answered the Instagram questions. No, I have not yet. What considerations should a new reseller take before getting an eBay subscription? Like I said earlier, I think that the subscription is good to get access to the tool. So they do have a great tool on eBay. If you go to Google and put what eBay store is right for me, walk yourself through the tutorial, see if you're going to save money with the listings, and then you're going to get access to the all the tools that eBay has to offer. So let's jump over to the Instagram machine, answer those questions right now. You guys are giving me a run for my money today. Like, the chat is popping, the questions are good, and trying my best. Tech tips for reselling on the Instagram machine. I share some helpful tips. I ask for some questions. Let's run through these. On Instagram, what is the most listings someone can run on an eBay store on their own? There's eBay accounts with millions of listings. We have Tom in the group. He has over 100,000 listings. Karen said that she enjoyed last video. I appreciate that. Do you have a video in the Facebook group exactly how to list fast? We do. Did you ever stop sourcing for a while and sell through your inventory? I did not, because I had a listing goal and a sourcing goal. Do you post Monday through Friday or 7 days a week? 7 days a week. If you want, you could build up a draft bank and take off Saturday and Sunday. Source one high item today, higher sell through, less profit, or longer sell through, high profit. That is a good controversial debate. If you're going to get less profit, it's got to sell faster. If you're going to get a higher profit, we can wait a little bit longer. eBay algorithm with 85% clothing, list daily, but not close every single day. There's no question there. Confused about order of keywords and title, brand, size, color, kind. So brand, what the item is, gender, size, keywords. Do you think the new background tool for pics will help with sales? I don't know. Some of them are kind of funky. I don't think it's going to help personally. Is eBay dying? Are they losing buyers? Under 25-year-olds, do they use eBay? I don't know if they're dying, but they could definitely do a better job with the younger audience. Would you recommend using AI to research keywords and categories? I would recommend learning it yourself, because what happens when the AI doesn't give you the proper answer? Do you just follow blindly? What happens when the AI doesn't know the answer? Are you stuck? I would try to figure it out yourself. Do shoes normally sell quicker than the clothes? Who knows? If you have bad shoes, they could take longer than bad clothes to sell. How can you maximize school with having an eBay business? You got to do both. If you want to do both, you have to do both. You're going to have to spend a lot of time at school, a lot of time after school. eBay reselling requires a lot of time. There is no kind of shortcut or get rich or do this fast. eBay takes as long as it's going to take, so you're going to have to spend the time to do it. How do you stay motivated to list every single day? I like to sell items. Can you have your wife have an eBay store in the same household? You can, but if one of you guys gets jammed up, suspended, or banned, they can suspend both of you, because eBay doesn't know if it's run by the same person, different people. So you are running that slight risk. All right, that was the Facebook questions. Very good. Now let me catch up with the chats. Thoughts on cross-listing to Poshmark? Me personally, I have zero experience with cross-posting. Me personally, I have zero experience with cross-posting. I'm struggling to find the past calls on the Patreon. How do you get them? No problem. All the past calls are in the document, which is in the pinned post on the top of the page. If you can't find them, send them a message, send me a message, or make a post in the Facebook group, and I'll give you the direct link to find them. Why do offers in California, New York, and New Jersey always so low? Are they broke? If you are in California, New York, or New Jersey, answer this guy. Are you broke? If you are broke, tell them you're broke, and that's why they get low offers from there. How does one get access to the deep dive document? You have to submit a deep dive. If you go to www.deepdivedocument.com, it has all the instructions over there. You have to submit a deep dive, and then you get access to the deep dive. Very good. I'm curious to know, are Californians, New Yorkers, and New Jerseyans, are you guys broke? That's why you're sending that other guy low offers. Bygone is right. Make sure you add the question marks before. There's a lot of stuff in the chat. It's popping. I'm trying my best over here. John, when do you plan on another reseller rescue? When I start traveling around, there will be more. And there might be one coming in June, maybe June. I might have another one coming in June. Making the work last all day versus doing the work. Just do the work. If we're going to spend 12 hours, we have to have 12 hours of results. If we're going to spend 8 hours, we have to have 8 hours of results. I will do some more reseller rescue videos. I will. When will the reseller rock be back in stock? So that whole thing was a joke. As you guys know, I popped open the reseller rock, and some scrub took resellerrock.com and they're trying to sell the reseller rock. That is not me. That is just another unoriginal person trying to ride a good idea. That is not me. Do not buy any reseller rocks. It was a joke. It was a joke. This is the only reseller rock ever made. If you are buying a reseller rock from resellerrock.com like a fool, it ain't me. Don't buy a reseller rock. Make your own. Someone refuses to have an original idea and then just chooses to leech off of someone else. That's what resellerrock.com is. And if they are not in stock, good. Hopefully they realize that no one is going to buy it and they wasted their time making the website. Looking for connections in the sports jersey department. Can you point me in the right direction? I would go to the flea market. That's where I would go. How long did it take you to memorize all the brands and the sell-through rates? I don't know. It just takes me one time, man. Like I have a steel trap hard drive of a brain. I don't know. It just takes me. Is the YouTube chat similar to the group chat room? I'm not sure. If you're talking in the group, no, everyone can talk back and forth on video. It's not just by chat. How do you learn and figure out keywords? You go right over there to the eBay machine and you look at the market. You look at the items that sell, figure out why they sell, figure out why items sell, figure out the patterns and the cadence of the items that do sell, and then implement those into your listings. And also don't be afraid to Google everything that you don't know. Once upon a time, I didn't know what geometric was. I had to Google it. Once upon a time, I didn't know what Henley was. I had to Google it. Once upon a time, I didn't know what Dolman sleeve is. I had to Google it. Don't be afraid to Google. Do you ever shadow ban buyers? I do sometimes. I shadow ban buyers who return more than one item. Um, if you return one, no problem. If you are a serial returner, that'll probably get you on the list for me personally. Um, very good. I've almost beat the chat. So if you guys have questions, if you want this to keep going, you got to keep going because like I have almost beat the chat. Um, all right. Who will win the Super Bowl this year? I told my son is a Saints fan for whatever reason. I think that was like his first flag football team. So like he latched onto the Saints. He said that the schedule leaked today, and while we were eating lunch, and we went over the schedule, I told him the Saints were going to go have 2 wins the whole year, and he got pretty hot. And he said that they're going to go 9-8, I believe. He said that they're going to have a winning schedule. Put it in the chat. Are the Saints going to have a winning schedule, or are they going to have 2 wins this year? I said 2 wins, but he got mad. Very good. What's the secret Easter egg bolo this week? I don't know. When I shared with the group a couple times, look up crimson red Carhartt jacket. There's a confirmed sale of $2,500. That's the coolest color for the Carhartt jacket right now. So if you find a crimson red Carhartt jacket, price it to the moon. That one's selling for a couple $1,000. Bree says he's in California. He's broke. So there you go. Checking in from California. Will you come to Australia? I definitely will come to Australia. Definitely will. Cash method versus accrual. You definitely have to talk to your accountant on that one. I refuse to give advice based on that. You are not going to catch me recommending cash method versus accrual accounting. Very good, very good, very good, very good. How many did you get done during the okay? Bygone says, Jewel, how many listings did you get done during the live? Let's put Jewel on the spot. Let's put Jewel on the spot. Nick Foles says, not with Derek Carr. I told him the same thing. And the backup is Peterman. Peterman is not a quarterback name. You can't win games with a quarterback with a last name Peterman. It's just not a quarterback name. It's not going to happen. Sell post items manually or pay to have someone else list them for you. Look, if you are paying for someone to list garbage, do them yourself. If you do not pay someone to mess up your store. Which is better, listing a certain amount of items a day or a certain dollar amount? I like to do certain items per day because if you do dollar amount, like if you have a dollar amount of $300, what if you list one item? Like you don't list for the rest of the day? Just list 10 items. So what if you pass the dollar amount? Who cares? So, all right, we have reached the bottom of the chat. If you got missed, post your comment below. Peterman is an account name. You're absolutely right, William. You cannot win games in the NFL with the last name Peterman. Before we leave, put your best quarterback names in the chat. Brett Favre, great quarterback name. Dan Marino, great quarterback name. John Elway, great quarterback name. Vinny Testaverde, great quarterback name. Peterman, it's not a quarterback name, man. It is not a quarterback name. I apologize. Joe Montana, great quarterback name. That is a great quarterback name, Joe Montana. Great quarterback name. Quarterback name means everything. If you don't have a great name as a quarterback, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out. Were you still working at CVS when you got laid off from Circuit City? I was not. Terry Bradshaw, great quarterback name. Mike Vick, great quarterback name. Brock Purdy, I don't know if that's a good quarterback name. Troy Aikman, great. Colt McCoy, Warren Moon, Peyton, Tom Brady, all great quarterback names. All right, so we have great quarterback names. Give me some bad quarterback names. Bart Starr, great quarterback name. Great quarterback names. What are some horrible quarterback names? Peterman might be the worst. Peterman might be the worst. That is a horrible quarterback name. Dan Pastrani, that is not a good quarterback name. Dan Marino is a quality quarterback name. That is a winning name. Ay, ay, ay. JP Lossman, horrible quarterback name. Any Chicago Bears quarterback. Rex Grossman, horrible quarterback name. Russell Wilson, Trent Dilfer, horrible. Ryan Leaf, horrible quarterback. You guys are good at this game. Kurt Warner, not a good quarterback name. Steve Young, good quarterback. Chad Henne, horrible name. Justin Fields, that's a good quarterback name. All right, very good. You guys are good at this game. David Klinger, not a good quarterback name. Kyle Orton, not a good quarterback name. Jewel says she got 4 up. Very good. Jeff George, not a good quarterback name. Colt McCoy is a good one. Jared Goff, not a good quarterback name. Very good. You guys are great at this. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you so much for giving us the most controversial debates in reselling. We appreciate you. We had a strong showing in the chat. I thank everybody. If I missed your question, it was on accident. Post it in the comments below. If you are late to the chat, if you're catching the replay, post your question below. I answer every single question that you guys have, and I do appreciate all you guys, and all I want to do is just be helpful any kind of way that I can. So thank you very much. You guys have some great quarterback names. Ryan Tannehill, not a good one. Ben Roethlisberger, not a good quarterback name. You guys are good. That was good. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me. And as always, be great. Thank you. Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks to all the moderators. We appreciate you. Thank you. Adios.